Hey, Scott.
Hey, Craig. Finally got the
I'm
show back to ourselves.
I'm losing hair. I actually had a haircut a few months ago, and it's still not growing. Well, welcome to the Political Matrix News on that side note. And what date is today? Today is February 11th.
February 11th.
And we just had the Super Bowl. We just had the wonderful halftime show that everybody's talking about now, good, bad, or indifferent, from Bad Bunny. Nobody's actually talking about the game, though. Nobody's talking about the
Well,
game. In fact, the game
the
I thought
game,
was
the
a
game.
snoozer.
Well, I mean, most Super Bowls are. There've only been really a handful of Super Bowls that weren't just like, Lauren, let me
Well,
go get another drink.
the last couple ones were pretty good.
Recently they've had a few good ones,
Yeah,
but
remember the 90s?
I
They
mean,
were
they were
blown out by
famous
30
for
points.
blowouts. Yeah, they were famous for blowouts back then.
Oh, yeah, it was a 30-point blowout, 40-point blowout, all that for like 10 or 15 years. I mean, and the only thing to watch was a halftime show and the
Yeah.
commercials, and that was the only thing that drawed anybody to it.
Frankly, it's probably been that long since I paid attention to a halftime show for more than about 3 minutes.
But
Yeah, well,
But the
whatever.
commercials are non-existent now because with everything almost being streaming, you don't really have that. People don't realize this, but whenever you stream commercials, you're micro-targeting certain audiences, so you're not having one commercial for the entire audience. And so it's a whole different world of commercials for Super Bowl.
Well, it's incredibly hard to be funny and woke at the same time. And when your rules are that you have to be woke, then you tend to
You
run
go
off your more
broke.
creative professionals.
If you're woke, you go broke.
Indeed, I mean that slogan proves itself every day.
Well, yeah, so tell us about the Bad Bunny controversy, because I'm not really keeping up with it. I don't know anything about Bad Bunny personally. I'm ignorant.
I will say this: what little bit of the Bad Bunny performance that I saw, and I did watch a little bit of it just to kind of see. I mean, train wrecks are interesting, but the music was okay. I have Latin friends though that said he's kind of hard to understand from the beginning.
Right.
I would have hated to have been one of the people that paid $10,000 for a ticket to show up at that game to have to sit there and try to figure out what was going on, because I mean, I think there might have been some stuff on the jumbotron that they could have appreciated, but most of the stuff you couldn't see hardly anything. You might as well be sitting at home. But you know, and I hear a lot of people, making very partisan complaints about it. But my complaint isn't partisan. It's not
No.
that it's not that it wasn't it wasn't American music or anything. It was that it was just bad and boring and
Yeah,
blasé. We've had
exactly.
much better shows.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I were talking before the show. I mean, if you want to talk about Latin entertainers that have done big shows in big arenas before, you got John Cicada and Miami Sound Machine, Gloria Estefan, Shakira, and you got, Wendy Iglesias, his father or the son. I mean, you have a lot of Latin singers who are Ricky Martin. I mean, Living La Vida Loca, people who actually know exactly what they're saying and can translate what they're saying into language. And I guess that's one of the biggest things that you were saying is that a lot of your Hispanic friends still had no idea what gibberish he was saying.
I mean, they were familiar with the songs, but the studio recordings are very different than the live performance
They
was.
are, definitely.
And yeah,
You and I are both musicians. We know how that's,
well,
a whole different world
yeah.
in the studio.
But regardless, there's not supposed to be that much of a difference.
No, it's
You're
your lip
supposed to be
sync.
able to still, in a live performance, you should be able, the audience should be able to follow what the heck it is you're talking about.
If it were
You,
Millie
you should.
if it were Milli Vanilli, it'd just be lip syncing, I mean, actually, a lot of people do lip syncing for the, big arenas like that, and, people don't even know it, but, I mean, you always see their mouths running 3 seconds behind the voice or, but
Well,
or that
a
could be
lot of
the
times,
acoustics.
yeah, I was gonna say a lot of times it's that. Sometimes it's all this great digital hardware we got doesn't get everything processed on time, so it can.
Exactly.
There's a lot of things that can cause those delays. It's like when you
Yeah.
watch people on TV, that are remote guests, and then it takes several seconds for the digital stuff to catch up sometimes.
Yeah.
And even in a live setting, that can be more than you would think. But I mean, like, Shakira does her stuff live. Shakira proves she does her stuff live, pretty convincingly a couple of days ago when she fell down. And when she fell down, the lyrics stopped. So I mean, she's clearly performing live, and she's not the only one. I mean, there are a whole bunch of them, and I'm not suggesting this kid was lip syncing, but he'd have probably been better off if he was. But regardless of that, if I was out for a night of Latin music, that would have been a wonderful performance. But when you want to get something that cuts through the mainstream of American culture, that wasn't the performance to show because all he was really doing. The theme of the art are the struggles of the Latin communities, and I'm
Right.
like, man, what does that have to do with football? That how's that going to charge up the crowd?
I know.
All they're really doing, you and I know what the whole purpose is. I mean, the NFL wants desperately to expand into Latin America, and some idiot marketing genius, probably the lady that got fired from Budweiser for hiring Dylan Mulvaney, made the decision that, hey, if we get this Latin singer up here, then the Latin people we support Latin people, and that'll help us get into South America. And even if that were true, which I seriously don't believe it is, it's at the expense of your core market. So you want to mortgage off your core. If you want to mortgage off your core market, go start a Latin American league and forget about America because that's basically what Americans feel like you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we've got Congressman Randy Fine here in Florida who's filing an FCC complaint against Bad Bunny. I mean, well, I mean, guys, okay, Republicans, get off the censorship kick. Let's don't go down
Yeah,
that road. Let's do not go down that road. We are not them. We are not the Democrats. Okay, we are not liberals. We are not against free speech. I'm not casting a big net against all Democrats or all liberals. So let me preface it with that. I mean, but we are not that people who are going this whole censorship route about a guy who just. Well, I mean, he's obviously passed the FCC standards to win a Grammy. Okay, yeah, I mean, and granted, a lot of Grammys are woke awards, but you don't get
they
that much.
are.
But you don't get that much radio play if you're violating FCC standards. The FCC will yank you
Exactly.
pretty quick. I mean, they don't play. They're already pretty strict already, and so the whole fact that he has gone through all these ratings and gone through all these radio sales and gone through all these downloads, and nothing has been flagged. And to file a complaint just because it's a political stunt, because my personal opinion is running for reelection. It's good for the campaign. It's good for fundraising, as we always say. But Republicans need to be extremely careful about going down that road here, censorship, because it's going to turn around and bite us. Whenever the Democrats get in charge, and people have really got to wake up. And Trump and all the Republicans have got to start waking up to the fact that all the stuff that we're doing so strongly, aggressively, if we were on the other side of the aisle, other side of the pond, we would not like it being done. So, I mean, we need to make sure the precedence is not set at that level, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
it's not. I don't. I just don't understand what they believe the end game here is. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to stop really telling people anything and talking past each other and start asking questions. When people disagree with us, don't tell them that they're wrong. Ask them why. Ask them what it is that makes this wrong. And when they answer was, and usually it's just they don't actually know because all they
No.
know is there have been reports that this happens. Okay, well, what kind of reports are there? What's the report?
Yeah.
Where did you hear? Do you truly believe that it's true? If you can't find it from a number of sources and you just heard it this one time, do you
Right.
really think it's true, or do you think it's really just someone's political talking point? And I'm going to
Exactly.
guarantee you pretty compellingly it was the latter.
I mean, because in all reality here, Kid Rock had his and Brandy Gilbert, they had their own alternative halftime show. And I like their music, I like their entertainment, but let's just be truth be told here, they're not the cleanest Christian boys either. They have no trouble cursing and smoking and drinking and everything else. I mean, they're just as, probably humanly vile as on the guys on the left. I mean, the point is entertainers are entertainers. And
Right.
I come from an entertaining family. I play 10 instruments and well, I've been on stage for 15 years. And I know that circle. And, it is what it is.
Well, entertainers are going to be entertainers. and I don't think anyone's trying to make the case that the entertainers, the Kid Rock's group of entertainers, were any more or any more virtuous than anyone else, or less virtuous than anyone else.
Let's,
What the
let's,
difference is their performance was.
yeah,
See, what someone's like in person, whatever, but their actual performance,
right,
there's no question
yeah.
that the Kid Rock, and frankly, that's the ironic part, isn't it? That the Kid Rock performance was far more family friendly than the Bad Bunny performance. I
Weird.
mean,
I
I,
mean,
I
Kid
mean,
Rock is based off viral, and I mean, if I mean, before he became a MAGA guy, I mean, everything before him, he is a rough and tumble rapper, country rock guy, and country rapper, and everything else. I mean, he was a entertaining guy, but he was not known. He wasn't somebody you take to church. And
his his breakthrough album was called "Devil Without a Cause."
yeah,
I mean, come on.
but at the same time, he is a very patriotic human being, and he puts America first. And
Absolutely, he is,
he's also grown a lot since
and he's
the
grown up.
days.
Of course, he has.
And then you have a name like Bad Bunny, which is like basically named after a little stuffed toy animal that kids like to play with. And, it's like a cartoon caricature almost, running on hip hop or K pop or whatever some sort of pop it is.
I don't know.
It's
There's probably
weird.
some cultural significance to it in
Probably.
in Spanish. When you say the Spanish word for Bad Bunny, which is probably I don't know, mal rapido, I don't know what it is. Um, but it probably has, like it probably rhymes in a certain way or has a certain cadence or something that's a little more
Yeah,
engaging.
exactly. But I miss John Cicada and Ricky Martin. What happened to those guys?
Well, I don't know.
That was
Look, I'm not gonna.
classy Hispanic music.
I get that, but those guys are not current.
I know.
Like Bad Bunny, I get that, but Shakira is.
Yeah, yeah,
Shakira's on a
yeah.
world tour right now. I mean,
Very true.
he is not the only Latin artist out there
No.
that would be culturally relevant at the time, but he is the one that would help support all of their anti or pro woke kind of things. Because I mean, they started the dang game off with the Black National Anthem, or the quote unquote Black National Anthem, because as far as I know, there's not a black nation. So I'm not sure how they have a national anthem. As far as I know, we got one national anthem. It's for America, and it's for all Americans, black, white, or
Yeah.
indifferent. It has, matter of fact, there ain't a whole lot of racism that you can really tie to the
No.
official national anthem.
And
I mean, it's
actually
just a story of a battle.
in all reality, I mean, there were studies done on the Black National Anthem, and that's actually more controversial than the regular national anthem. I mean, the people were talking about the plight and everything else that they're going through in slavery, and they're a little bit more expressive in that. And so, I mean, I mean, and I actually have no problem with, them singing it as long as it's identified as that, and then the national anthem identified as a national anthem. I mean, if they want
That
to,
frankly, I'm with you. My heartburn isn't the performance of the song. My heartburn is the characterization of it as a separate and distinct national anthem for a different
right.
racial group.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's that. They can say it's unifying all they want.
It's
If it was
segregating.
unifying, they wouldn't call it the Black National Anthem.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it goes again to what we are just saying about Republicans going down the censorship route. We need to have the cultural distinction here. Stop going down the segregation route. We got to start, stop segregating everything, and realize that they keep on talking about the immigrations, and they want to bring all these illegals over here and bring them all together. Well, why don't we go ahead and bring everybody who's is already here all together? And quit segmenting out the natural Americans already. And let's just quit. Basically, you guys are doing a segregation buffet, in my opinion. You're going through a buffet like a Golden Corral. You're saying we're going to go ahead and be racist here, but not racist here, and segregation here, and not segregation here. I mean, it doesn't work like that, guys. We're America. It's a melting pot, and everybody gets here. And the reality here, and we've talked about this numerous times before, it's not about the people not wanting to be here. It's about us not knowing who they are. They have to have documentation. We actually had a meeting here where I live out here recently, and they were saying that they, need to know how many people are in a zip code to have, the right kind of infrastructure being put in place. You don't know how many people are in a zip code if they're not documented. No, you have to have documentation. You have to have licenses. You have to have social security numbers. You have to have some sort of idea of who the hell is there. You take it from a little small town and multiply that by like 30,000 municipalities around the country, you got a mess. And that's what, they're okay with.
That rolls right into that the Save America Act, or whatever it's called,
Yeah, it's great.
the national voting thing. It's funny watching watching these Democrats, these congressional Democrats, just call it Jim Crow and stuff like that, when the overwhelming majority of their party want people to have have to have ID with which to vote. There's no one who can credibly tell you that black people can't find their ID. They can find their ID just fine when they're when they're signing up to get on airplanes, to sign up for programs, to go to go get a bank account, to do whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
To go to Circle
and
K and get cigarettes or alcohol or lottery tickets or anything.
or whatever. And the argument that, well, there are homeless people that don't have ID. I said, well, homeless people don't vote either. And
No.
if there's a large population of homeless people voting, I want them investigated, because I'm confident
Yes.
they're not the ones doing the voting.
Exactly. I agree. First of all, how are they getting to the polls? And
How do they get
secondly,
to the polls?
and what's their address that they're claiming for to be in a precinct? They're basically assuming, and they're winning on this assumption, that everybody's stupid and doesn't realize that, oh yeah, you actually have to have an address here to vote. You have to have an address to be in a precinct.
The reason that argument works is because Democrats in particular have this sense of moral superiority, and frankly, just intellectual superiority too. Everyone that's not them is dumb and immoral.
Yeah. But the reality is that in some areas, I know in Florida for sure, the homeless people basically claim the supervisor of elections office as their address. And there's like a certain precinct, and that opens up the door for all types of anybody to claim that address as their elections office. It's like an absentee location or something. And that creates all kinds of avenues for fraud.
Well, after working in elections for 30 years, I can tell you that the only people opposed to a voter ID are the people looking to rig elections. Period.
Exactly. That's it. And those are the same people who are, who are screwing up the entire system the way it is. I mean, it's a mess to where, we've got to get everything under control. And, I hear other podcasts, I hear other people who are saying that we're like being evil and demonic again. No, we just want organization. We just want people to be, documented. And also, I don't think, I do know that they understand, brains of Democrats should understand that the more people that you have documented, the more government funding you can justify to get for those government services. And so it's a win win. I don't really understand what they'll get with that.
Well, you and I both know that the reason they have these blue states and cities embrace these immigrant communities, and not the immigrant communities, because under the color of supporting immigrant communities, they support illegals. Partially because there's an emotional side of it that says that we're good people, and because we're good people, we do this. But the other side of it is a political reality that if they can count all of those people in their district as residents, then they get significantly more representation in Congress. I mean, if we kick out all the illegals in California, I mean, doesn't California lose like 5 seats or something like that?
Yeah, then make them residents. You know how you do that? You document them.
Document them. Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead and document them.
exactly. Yeah, that's what you do. Go ahead and make them legal citizens, get them documented, and make sure that they want everybody to check their background and that they're all good to go and that they have nothing to hide. They want to be here legally and they want to go through the process. That's good. They keep on saying that, we're against some sort of organized immigration reform. No, we're not. We want them to go through the system properly like everybody else did. Need like another Ellis Island is what we need. We need people to do it properly.
The bottom line is if they really wanted to support immigration, they really wanted to support immigration and not a system that creates second-class citizens out of illegal immigrants who
Fraud.
who are reluctant to engage legal mechanisms to defend their rights. If they really wanted to do that, they'd open up a local state-funded office to assist immigrants in becoming citizens or becoming here, and whatever they would need to do to support running these guys through these federal programs. The reason they don't do that is because they would have to be in compliance with the federal program.
Exactly. And they would lose their ability to commit the fraud that they're committing and the
Exactly.
ability to money launder. See, people don't, and that's what people are so naive about. There's so much dark money. They want to talk about the dark money and the C4s and the dark money and political campaigns. That is pales in comparison to the dark money in immigration and human
Did you
trafficking.
did you see the story over? I think it was over the weekend. This girl, a couple of journalists. I think it was a guy and a girl. Actually, they went out to. I think they're California residents, and they went over to California to Ilhan Omar's husband's winery,
Yeah.
and it's not even a winery. So what it is it's like one of these offices that you can go rent an office space in there. It's a collab office, and what this is it is a wine processing operation. But if you're like a small label guy and you don't have the money to put for all the presses and to keep all the certifications up so that you can actually process and manufacture wine, well, that's expensive. But these guys kind of do it on a like a co-op or whatever. And there was a sign right on the door that someone from the co-op wrote that says that what is it? It's the E E Street Crew or whatever it is that that's the name of that brand. So that they used to be part of that co-op years ago, but they're now defunct. And the only reason that this address is on their is on the filings is because you have to put it. Part of the whole object of having that type of business is so that you can have place that's in legal compliance that you can put on all your reports. That's what that place was. The problem is that E Street Crew has been gone for years. And what did they call it? A bottle label that they had that they said was their most popular kind. It was something like the devil something or another. And when you search it up, it has nothing but allegations of fraud as being a fictitious brand to begin with. So how does that operation, and this place was in a strip mall. So if there was anything going on there all of a sudden, the church next door who was very willing to talk to the journalists, um, they would have noticed all of a sudden over a year that this place that had just meager little traffic all of a sudden was just blowing up because now all of a sudden instead of being worth $5,000 it's worth 50 million or whatever the heck it is, or 1 million. Let me tell you something, going from $5,000 to $1 million is a big deal. And when you can't see any visible evidence of it, it doesn't suggest anything more compellingly than money laundering. I mean,
it's
go watch Breaking Bad sometime. That's a class. That and Ozark are classes in money laundering.
exactly. Or go talk to that lady in Georgia. I forgot her name, who ran for governor, and she had
Stacey
like
Abrams.
Stacey Abrams. Go talk to her. Ask her how she turned $5,000 $2 billion. Yeah,
So
I know a few people who were
well,
part
I
of that.
understand how she. You see, at least I understand. I can connect the dots on hers.
But yeah, we can.
There's nothing great about it. I mean, she got a payoff from the Biden crew for carrying the water for them. And so now I mean I call it a payoff. I mean no one has officially called it a payoff, but I think that's what it is because it looks like she has you know There's no real evidence, or let me qualify that. I have not seen any evidence that she's done anything with the money that was given to her other than just pay administrative fees. Because what they're supposed to be doing is buying appliances for underprivileged people, so they've got new energy efficient appliances instead of the old crappy stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how that's working out for anybody,
It's it's all
but
ridiculous,
maybe
and it's all fake. The thing is that the wine business is perfect for money laundering because
it is.
because chemically, from for chemical analysis, you can take two bottles of the exact same variety of wine. They may be chemically identical, but
Right.
one may be $10 and one may be $1,500, because it's all about, the story that you tell when you're selling booze.
Exactly. Yeah, and maybe Pam Bondi, after she gets done with the bantering with Congress like she did today with the Epstein files and everything else, maybe she can move on to the Stacey Abrams and all the voter fraud stuff. Because I do know that they raided the Fulton County office here a couple weeks ago. We talked about it on the last show. I think we talked about that. And so, I mean, hopefully there's going to be a little bit of fire there with all the smoke. And
You should have saw the warrant application,
yeah, because
because
people gotta get over this fact that there's no voter fraud, clean elections, blah 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 blah. Doesn't
yeah, yeah,
exist, guys.
the worst characterization that I've heard of it is that Trump is upset because of because of an election that was 5 years ago. Let's just get over it. I'm like, okay, well, if should we also, are there other crimes we should just get over after 5 years? Yeah, yeah, we're coming up with evidence that there's something to it, but it was a long time ago. Let's just let it go.
Yeah, and if you want to go ahead and hit the hypocritic button, just go talk to Al Gore and see how he feels about 2000.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's still a little sore about that. I mean,
And
he
Hillary
lost
Clinton
by
about 2016.
yeah, exactly. Well, 2016 is a legitimate loss. I mean, Florida was, 513 votes, and they just stopped the recounting, and Supreme Court stopped it. And who knows? They could have, in the Democrat world, they can keep recounting until they create more votes.
I was going to say the reason the Supreme Court stopped it was the same reason they stopped it in what was it, 20, it was 2016 or 2020.
Uh,
When we stopped the reason that we wound up with Nikki Fried as the Secretary of Agriculture in Florida was because they kept counting votes and counting votes and counting votes, and finding more votes for Republican candidates. And on election night there was a Republican that had won that seat,
but yeah,
like Shane Calder or Caldwell, or something like that. I forget
yeah, a long time
what his
ago.
name was. But I mean, he was a very good candidate for the seat,
Yeah,
and he won the seat, and then all of a sudden he won it until he didn't, and all of a sudden they just keep counting these ballots. But the warrant
exactly.
application in Georgia, had all the stuff that we knew was going to be in there. Missing ballot images that were scanned more than once.
Yeah,
And once they start really doing the forensics on these. On these physical ballots, I got a suspicion that the FBI crime lab, which is world class, is going to find out that that's not even the paper that was used to print our ballots, or print
right.
the Georgia ballots.
Okay, you and I said the same thing. I mean, whenever they don't certify the votes they don't count. They're
When you
not
don't
certified
certify
properly.
there's a reason for that statute. If you don't certify the votes don't count. Well, they got 315,000 votes that don't count.
You see, and that's a lot.
Well, you can say whatever you want to about it, but these it's not like these election officials don't know the law. That's part of the basic training, that
Yeah,
you will sign this stuff. And the reason, I will tell you without reservation, my belief is the reason that they didn't sign them was because they knew at some point that there was something weird going on,
right.
and they're not going to put their name to it because they'll be the ones serving the time.
Exactly. And I mean, and so I mean, the whole fact here that people think that there's no voter fraud. I mean, I think they were talking about this in the 1800s. I mean, there have been funny elections and squirrely elections ever since we started having elections. And so, I mean, 1700s, 1800s, I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, people want to win. And sometimes they bend the rules a little bit here and there to do it.
My main clue, the officials in Georgia know that it was crooked, is the vigor with which they are screaming to return those paper ballots.
Yeah, I remember a
I
TV
mean,
show. I remember a TV show about Georgia called The Dukes of Hazzard, and I remember Boss Hogg would always fix the ballots. And
mhm,
it was a TV show. It was the entertainment, but I mean, the whole reality is that's a reality. And there are elections in Georgia and Tennessee and these small rural communities where the ballots are fixed, and elections are basically stagnant, and nobody ever gets unelected, for years. I mean, I was actually talking to somebody today about Alachua County, and Alachua County has such a screwed up system. I think maybe it's screwed up on purpose. We had an incumbent sheriff who usually incumbent sheriffs win 98% of the time. He lose by 700 votes, and he's a Republican, and he lost by 700 or 500 votes. And we had a incumbent issue about districts being basically not at large, so letting people vote by their district. So that way, they preserve the minority voice, but the minorities did not, the minority powers to be in Alachua County, or the Democrats rather, in Alachua County, thought that that was racist. That they should water down everybody's vote and make sure everybody votes at large because voting at large is much more free,
yeah.
which is the entire opposite of the entire voter and civil rights movement and everything else that allow a minority community to have a stronger vote and a stronger voice because your voice is your vote and your vote is your voice and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's watered down in this big sea of college students and everything else, and it's ironic that they lost that election. And so, did they really lose, or were the ballots? I mean, we've talked about Alachua County voter irregularities a lot, or were those votes just not even real?
I don't know. You know, we ought to look at them. Probably ought to look at them the same way that they're looking at the Georgia ballots, because
Yeah,
they're finding ballots in Georgia that are identically marked. And I
yeah,
don't mean like they all voted for the same people. I mean that the markings on them are identical, which is suggestive that they were artificially placed on them.
most likely, yeah. Probably
And
Photoshop.
and the number, you'd have to do something that would deposit ink. Probably the most likely thing that they would do if they were going to do something like that would be similar to the way that they do silk screening. You know, you wind up with,
Yeah.
and frankly, a silk screen frame would probably be the easiest way to do it. You just make sure it lines up and it registers on two corners, drop down the thing, and then squeeze an ink with a similar formulation to the one that they have for the Sharpies that they use, and you're done.
Well,
Or just take a giant magic marker and just scrub it up and down a silk screen, and you've got the correct ink in all the right places in a fraction of the time that it would take to hand mark them.
just by being ignorant here about the Georgia ballot, was it like a Scantron ballot?
Yeah, it's a bubble ballot.
So basically, they could probably send that to Vistaprint and print probably a
Well,
few thousand copies of it.
yeah, that's ridiculous, though. They can't do that because they would get caught doing
Well, they
that.
should. They would, yeah.
100% that they would. But the thing is that like the silk screen frame that I just described, that's like $700 or something like that. It's nothing. And, you know, 3 or 4 people with screens like that could put those ballots together, and, you know, you could do thousands per hour.
Yeah. You knock it out.
Was just a handful of equipment, and then you got one guy on the end looking and say, "Oh, that one's kind of misaligned. No, we'll toss that one." But so what? Honestly, I think that every ballot put into service, period, should have a serial number on it. And by serial number, I don't mean that like they are indexed so that each, we have ballot one, then ballot two, then ballot three, then ballot four. They all need to be random numbers, but unique random numbers, unique 16-digit numbers or something like that, printed on every single one of them with no record as to where they went. And
Right.
frankly, the anonymous nature of them being, no matter where they went, going wherever. Honestly, the best thing to do is to put it in UV ink to begin with, so that no one can take a picture of it, but you can look at it and see that this is with the right light. You can look at it and see, hey, this was one of the official ballots, and you only have one of them.
Yeah. So that's the best way they need to handle it.
And
But
there was
they're not going to.
and another issue they had was tens of thousands of ballots that were identified as mail-in ballots with no creases on them. How do you fold and mail a ballot and then get it back with no creases on it? That's
Pretty
not how
magical.
paper works.
No, it's not. It's not how paper work. Paper
Even if
creases.
you, even if you, yeah, if you get one or two of them to come out perfect, that'd be it. Just one or two,
Exactly.
not tens of thousands of them. There are for sure fraudulent ballots in there. And one of my really compelling questions is, how do you have ballots that were scanned more than once? Because they've admitted that they have ballots that were scanned more than
It's
once.
magic.
So were they
Magic.
scanned more than once, or were they reproduced more than once?
Exactly. I know it's a mess, and hopefully somebody in the Justice Department will get this all figured out before the next cycle. Real quick, it looks like the Olympics are going on. Is anybody even talking about the Olympics in
My mother's kind
Milan?
of interested. My mother's kind of interested in the ice skating.
Well, yeah, the ice skating is pretty cool. I remember Scott Hamilton and all those guys back in the '90s and '80s. But it looks like I'm looking at the medal count right now. And Norway's ahead by 13. Italy has 13, and America has 12. And so we're in the top three.
I don't really care, especially when you got athletes that see that's what's wrong with this cultural thing we got going on. You've got athletes out there that are questioning, oh, I don't know if I'm proud to represent America or not because I'm not responsible for everything that's going on down there. Well, you're not. So, in the words of Ricky Gervais, get up there, say your thank yous, and shut up. Well, he was a little more
Exactly.
colorful when he said it because you don't know what you're talking about.
No, just go ahead and grab your ice skates and start skating. Grab your skis and start skiing. I mean, guys, just do your sport and represent America. Don't worry, we're a good country. People like us. People die to come here. I mean, they literally die to come here. I mean, this is the best nation in the world by far. I mean, and we got a lot of great countries, but nobody else is dying to go to any of the countries.
No, and the only people saying otherwise are petulant children who are now being told that they can't get all the free stuff that they used to be getting.
Yeah, I would like some of the free stuff I did used to get. Not really. I didn't
What are
get
you
any free
talking
stuff.
about?
I'm being sarcastic. The whole point here is that, all the free stuff is, has escaped people who are actually following the system anyway. And, the reality here is I talked to somebody, and then whenever you take 20 million people who are illegal and throw them into the micro system of life and let them drain off the schools and the hospitals and the traffic and infrastructure and everything else without having any idea of how to you know compensate for it or how to pay for it. And then whenever you take them out of the system when they all start leaving, then all their spending is going. And so, I mean, I get it. We have a little bit less cash in the system, but we also have a lot less cash going out. And so it's
Well,
a it's
it,
a
it
net even.
it just depends on who we're talking about. Because if we're
It
talking
does.
about the Somalis, the Somalis that we brought here and are apparently trying to make permanent residents, 87% of them are still on welfare.
Yeah.
And they're not making any effort to not be on welfare because the welfare payments are giving them enough money. Between the welfare payments and the kickbacks that they get from participating in these frauds are enough to keep them happy.
So they don't have the work to welfare program for Somalians.
It doesn't matter if they do; they're not going to take advantage of it. You know, you
They
you you look
should.
you look at those. There's a lot of stuff they should do. They should get their butt to work and not sit there and try to freeload off everybody like there's a prize for doing it. Oh wait, there is a prize. It's called a paycheck. But it's not something you ought to be admire. It is the sad reality that poverty in America is like wealth in Somalia.
It is.
And the Somalians would much rather be here. There aren't bullets flying everywhere. I mean, I'm sure in some of their little neighborhoods there are, but it's nothing compared to what was in Somalia.
No, it's not.
I mean, Somalia's a dangerous place. And it's not anyone's fault except for the Somalians, and it's not because they're black or African or whatever. It's because they are culturally used to this kind of society. And
we're
they're trying to
not.
bring that society here, and I don't like it. I don't want it here.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of immigration is about assimilation anyway. I mean, you come to America to be Americans. You don't come to America to bring your country with you.
I
In fact,
love immigrants.
yeah, I mean, in fact, we don't go to their country to bring our countries with us to them. I mean, we actually, know a lot of people who want to go to different countries to get immersed in that culture to learn about their culture. Not to take their culture and to impose it upon that culture. And the whole idea here of going to different countries and going different places and traveling and everything else is about, growth and not about, basically being in your face like, well, we're going to do it my way. I mean, if you're an American and you're going over to Italy or Norway or China or anywhere like that, you're not saying we're going to do it the American way. You're going to their culture, to their community, to learn about how to do it their way. And it's the same should be for America as well. I mean, it goes both ways, guys.
Problem is when you go and learn about these new cultures and try to bring their ways here, unless you are one of those people, then you're appropriating their culture.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, and so I mean,
There's nothing interesting about that. It's just the sort of thing that people. The reason that you can't win with liberals is because they don't want you to win.
well,
Their whole protocol is sowing chaos so that they can get people, to get things enacted into law that people wouldn't, enact into law if they were paying attention and thinking about what they were doing.
at least right now, it sounds like the protests on all the college campuses have slowed down against all the Jew people, and so now they just did all the protests against the ICE people, and so they just picked a different new audience.
Well, so that's all they do. It's a standard protocol, and it is very standardized, and it's kind of evident that these fake crowd people are the ones that are financing all of this stuff.
They are.
They're being crowds on demand, though. I mean, to their credit, who was a company that was getting a little bit of a name for creating some of these fake crowds, and I think they kind of retooled the way that they do these things because they do have some legitimate public relations uses that are not even political. It's just more of a marketing thing to make
Right.
sure that you got a healthy looking crowd for your opening event. But the CEO of that company is saying that he was approached about putting crowds out in Minnesota, and he says, "Thank you, no."
Yeah, well, it looks like Minnesota has quieted down a lot, and so Tom Homan kind of went in there and took over, and he's like, "Hey, everybody, calm down, chill out. Let's just do everything the right way, and get off our backs. We'll get off your back. We'll just, do regular immigration enforcement and move on." And it seems to have worked to a degree so far.
Well, I mean, the part that these guys have been leaving out the whole time is that when they do, how we say this? So the reason that we are having violence is the protesters. And the reason we're having protesters is because the state and local governments aren't cooperating with ICE. And by cooperating with ICE, what I mean is when you have a criminal alien in your jail and you refuse to turn him over and you do things specifically in a way to make it so that they can't get so that ICE can't get a hold of them, then you leave ICE with no choice but to do what they're doing, which is to bring themselves into the communities and track these people down themselves, which is incredibly dangerous and opens us up to the kinds of things that have happened in Minnesota. If we wouldn't be accidentally detaining Americans if they were just handing over the ones that are in the prisons.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a problem in Florida here at all.
No, we don't because when we arrest a criminal alien, we call ICE and say, "Hey, come get this jacket."
Yep, and it works.
And it works. It works like a charm.
Everybody should come to Florida.
Everyone should turn in criminal aliens when they arrest them.
They should.
And I hate to tell you, but a DUI is a criminal alien. I mean, let's start out with the fact that if they're here illegally to begin with, they're criminals already. But let's look over that part. Let's just focus on the ones that get arrested because those are the ones that are the real problem. When they get arrested, they're done. That should be it. If I was in another country on a visa and I got arrested for something, there's a pretty good chance that country would kick me out.
Probably will.
Why we're not doing that here, I mean, why the blue states think that that's not the thing to do is beyond me, other than for corrupt reasons. There's no non corrupt reason to not do that.
So you're saying there's no non-corrupt reason not to get rid of criminals, and I agree.
I'm
What
saying
a
all the
thought.
reasons to keep all of the reasons to not keep to all the reasons to keep corrupt aliens are corrupt, or to
Yeah,
illegal aliens are corrupt. All of the reasons for keeping them here are corrupt. I mean, just because you can figure out a compassionate excuse doesn't make the reason that you're doing it compassionate. It just means that you've got good cover.
that's true. It's very true. Well, what else is going on today here?
Oh man.
I don't know. I think we solved all the problems today.
Solve all the world's problems without even trying.
Exactly. In 45 minutes.
45 minutes or less.
Okie doke. Well, go ahead. We'll just call it an evening here. We're gonna let y'all go. I think we are on all the. We're trying to get back on Apple Podcasts, all the social media podcasts. We've had some wonderful server issues here with the social media platforms. Don't want to talk to each other anymore. So we're working on that wonderful stuff out. But you guys follow us anywhere you can, and we look forward to hearing from y'all soon.
Let's do it.
Good night, Scott.
Good night.